Welcome, Rifters, to Rifty Ratings. I am Corman. I am ready to do some rating. Alright. Starting with Unleashed, these are my top 3 from each set. Got Blue Sentinel, alternate art. The reason I like this one, in this art, you can actually see the scale, the size of this unit, the sheer size of it, and the fact that Vi is still going up against it to try to get that blue buff. It really is a cool artwork to me. And so I rank this one in number 3. Looks like just a standard punch off here. And we're going to see who wins. And if it's anything like League, the Blue Sentinel's going to have a hard time against those Hextech gauntlets. That's number 3. Number 2, we have Ultra Soft Poro. Every time I see this card, I just can't help but smile. Got this super cute Poro here with his grin and happy eyes. How big and fluffy he is. He also has like a ice sculpture of a bird on his head. Pretty cute as well, but he's also the MVP of the pre-Rift sets, in my opinion, from this Unleashed. At least in the games I played, he was a go-to for people and was a hard thing to deal with if you didn't do it right away. Also, his flavor text having to do with how soft he is. How? Magic and conditioner. So clearly this Poro likes to bathe and keep clean. But this is number 2. And on to number 1 from Unleashed. We have Pike Blood Harbor Ripper Overnumber. I actually just went and traded and got this card in person today. Definitely my favorite card in all of Ripbound at the moment from the art. And the art here is done by Kendall Jack. I appreciate the color and contrast. I have a affinity to these wider background cards, as you'll see throughout this conversation. You'll be able to tell how I rate those a little bit higher, but I love the water kind of bubbles floating around in this picture, since he is the Bilgewater legend that is also in the water a lot of the time. So interesting view, and how the shark teeth kind of look like they're almost bubbling up from his shoulders. And then the fact that his bandana and mouth cover kind of flails off like a flag is pretty unique to me as well. I just think it's all around really cool artwork and a great card to have in person. I can just look at it because I think it's pretty neat. I will be building a deck to use this card because of how much I enjoy it and just want to show it off. So that's number 1 from Unleashed. Now on to Spirit Forged. Number 3, we've got Jax Unrelenting. Sorry about the different zoom ins. I'm pulling these pictures straight from the League card gallery, and for some reason some of these images are just smaller than the others and the size that they uploaded, so not really sure why. But here we are, Jax Unrelenting, the Weapon Master himself, one of my favorite characters to play in League of Legends, and the fact that he is so good with weapons that he chooses to use a lamppost as a weapon, just to show how great he is at combat, that people still can't defeat him, even when he's just fighting with a lamp. So in this picture, it kind of depicts that fire from his lantern that's on the end of his lamppost as he's spinning it around doing his Counter-Strike move, which shields him, and then he comes in and bops you with that lamppost a bunch. Also, kind of has the Ninja Turtle fingers, just a characteristic of him. But I rank this as number 3. I think the pose is pretty cool and shows off his skill pretty well from the League of Legends game and portrays that well into Riftbound. On to number 2, we've got Rally the Troops. This is a pretty plain spell. Not sure it's really used that much. It's cheap, only a 2-cost spell, but it is a when a friendly unit is played this turn, buff it. And then also draw one. So I can see it as, it's a pretty good card. You get a draw off of it, and you get to buff a unit immediately. But the reason I like it is I have an affinity to the Demacian champions from League of Legends. I love playing Lux. I love playing Garen. And I'm pretty decent with Jarvan 4. And all 3 of them are pictured in this spell. And then you also have Galio in the back as the hulking presence back there. But Lux is about to do her final spark while she's floating, so just a cool picture in my opinion. That's why I chose it as number 2. But then the flavor text, of course, is just Demacia. Alright, on to number 1. From Spirit Forged, we've got Overnumbered Set Brawler. You can see the kind of wolf fist thing going on here. This skin is a pretty cool skin for Set to have, with the ornate kind of necklace, and then also the anklet, bracelet kind of things too. But the reason I mostly like it is, like I said before, the whiter background. I feel like in person these cards look really good with those white backgrounds, and I also like the anime kind of style is the way I see it, the way it's kind of more hand-drawn looking. And this art is done by Andy Tong, so appreciation there for you. Great job on this card art. I love it. And his flavor text, kings or beggars, all the same to me. He's just in it to fight. So that's number 1 from Spirit Forged, and we will be moving on to Origins. Number 3 from Origins, got BMO. The old splash art from the game. Little Teemo in his B outfit. Who can argue with this, with the cuteness flowing off of this card? Teemo by himself is already cute, but throw him in a bee costume with a little smile on it as well, right above his forehead. How cute. And then you've got this little bee here winking. Come on. Who would not like this card? I have this card in person, and it is just fun to play with because it makes me smile when it shows up in your hand. So that's a tell, I guess, if you're playing against me. If I'm smiling and I'm playing a deck with Teemo in it, that's probably why I'm smiling. Alright, on to number 2. Miss Fortune alternate art Captain. So this is kind of along the trend of the lighter backgrounds on cards. I think they look really good in person, and they show up really well on these cards that Riftbound has been printing. So, also a fan of Miss Fortune. I think most people are. I am also just a fan of Bilgewater. It seems like kind of the pirate theme, just right up my alley of what I enjoy. So here you have Miss Fortune in her pose on her ship with the white coloring contrast. Yep, not much really going on with that. I think it just looks really good in person on the card. And on to number 1 from Origins. Another white background card. You've got Lee Sin, the Blind Monk, overnumbered legend card. Donning the Bruce Lee tribute outfit, doing a high kick with a dragon behind. I mean, come on. This, when I first saw this in the first set, there was no doubt in my mind this was the highest point of art on the Riftbound cards. Now, I know that there's other cards valued higher than this one from the first set, but as far as the looks go and what it looks like in person and just the art of it, I feel like you can't beat this one. So, Loiza Chen, great job. I hope we see some more from you in the future on these Riftbound cards, and that we can get to see more of that art, and hopefully I can get this card in person someday. But as it is now, I do not have it. Maybe somebody wants to send it to me. But I think the price is up there. Maybe with all the product we've been getting recently, we have seen prices going down, so we'll see what happens. But that's my top 3 from each set of Unleashed, Spirit Forged, and Origins. Let me know what you think. I hope some of you agree with me on these cards and the fact of how great the art is, and that maybe they're your favorite cards from the sets as well. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you again soon. And we've got another regional coming up in Vancouver, so we'll see what's going on there this weekend. Talk to you later.